Hi folks, Jake here from Should I Go? Your channel for travel destination decisions. If you're looking for a city overflowing with culture, history, and non-stop energy, welcome to New Orleans. From mouth-watering Cajun cuisine to the sounds of live jazz filling the streets, NOLA is unlike any place on earth. So, should you go? Let's break it down with the top 10 reasons to visit the Big Easy. Step into the heart of New Orleans, the French Quarter. Established in 1718, this historic district is a living, breathing museum where the past and present collide. The moment you set foot on these cobblestone streets, you'll feel the echoes of over 300 years of history. Spanish and French colonial influences are everywhere, from the Creole townhouses with their intricate wrought iron balconies to the flickering glow of gas lamps that line the sidewalks. Jackson Square is the centerpiece of the French Quarter, where the iconic St. Louis Cathedral stands tall, watching over the city like a guardian of time. The square is alive with energy. Painters display their vibrant artwork, tarot card readers invite you to glimpse into your future, and the sounds of jazz, blues, and street performers create an atmosphere like no other. And then, there's Bourbon Street, a place that never sleeps, where the neon lights shine as bright as the personalities that walk its streets. By day, it's a historic thoroughfare. By night, it transforms into a never-ending street party, filled with live music, spontaneous parades, and revelers enjoying the city's signature cocktails. Whether you're exploring history, taking in the sights, or diving headfirst into the nightlife, the French Quarter is where New Orleans truly comes to life. Warning: if you visit New Orleans, you will gain a few pounds, but trust me, it's worth it. The city is home to some of the most iconic and flavorful food in the world. Start your day the right way with a stop at Café du Monde, where the only thing sweeter than their chicory coffee is the warm, pillowy beignets covered in powdered sugar. And don't bother wiping your face. You'll just end up covered in sugar again with the next bite. But the real magic happens when you dive into Creole and Cajun cuisine. A bowl of gumbo is more than just a dish. It's a symbol of the city's rich culinary history. Every bite is a blend of African, French, and Spanish influences, with smoky andouille sausage, fresh seafood, and the deep, rich flavors of a slow-cooked roux. One spoonful, and you'll understand why it's a staple in every local's diet. And then there's the po' boy, New Orleans' answer to the perfect sandwich. Whether you go for crispy fried shrimp, roast beef dripping with gravy, or oysters fresh from the Gulf, this French bread masterpiece will ruin all other sandwiches for you. Finally, if you're lucky enough to visit during crawfish season, pull up a chair, roll up your sleeves, and get ready for a true Louisiana experience. A traditional crawfish boil is as much about community as it is about food. Dump a pile of steaming, spicy crawfish onto a newspaper-covered table, grab some corn and potatoes, and start peeling. It's messy, it's delicious, and it's NOLA at its finest. New Orleans isn't just the birthplace of jazz, it's a city where music lives and breathes on every corner. Walk down Royal Street and you'll hear the soulful wail of a saxophone floating through the air. Take a turn onto Frenchmen Street and suddenly, the entire world is a concert. One of the best places to experience authentic jazz is Preservation Hall, a no-frills, standing-room-only venue where some of the best musicians in the world play their hearts out just a few feet away from you. No microphones, no fancy lighting, just raw, powerful music that takes you straight to the roots of jazz. But jazz isn't the only sound of the city. There's Zydeco, a high-energy mix of accordion and washboard-driven rhythm that'll have you two-stepping before you even realize what's happening. Then, there's brass band music, which turns any street corner into a spontaneous dance floor. Music isn't just entertainment here, it's a way of life. If New Orleans had a middle name, it would be Party. The city's nightlife is legendary, and the best part, you don't have to be inside a club to experience it. Thanks to NOLA's open container laws, you can grab a drink, take it to go, and let the night take you wherever it pleases. If you're looking for a classic New Orleans experience, start with a hurricane at Pat O'Brien's. This sweet, potent rum cocktail will have you feeling the spirit of the city in no time. Feeling adventurous? Try a hand grenade, Bourbon Street's strongest drink. Just one of these, and you'll be dancing in the streets with strangers like you've known them forever. For those who appreciate a more refined experience, New Orleans is also home to some of the best cocktail bars in the world. Sip a classic Sazerac, the city's signature whiskey cocktail, and savor the flavors of history in every sip. Now, if you really want to experience New Orleans at its peak, there's no better time to visit than Mardi Gras. Picture this: larger-than-life floats, costumed revelers dancing in the streets, beads flying through the air, and a city that never stops celebrating. But Mardi Gras is more than just a party. It's a deeply rooted tradition dating back to the 1700s. From the lavish masked balls to the family-friendly parades, there's something for everyone. Whether you're catching throws from a passing float or dancing in the streets to a brass band, Mardi Gras is an experience you'll never forget. Are you loving this journey through New Orleans? Then do me a favor. Hit that like button to let me know you're enjoying the video. And if you want more epic travel guides that help you decide, should I go? Make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss a new adventure. Okay, now back to the video. If you love ghost stories, voodoo legends, and tales of the supernatural, New Orleans is the place for you. It's considered one of the most haunted cities in America, and it's not hard to see why. Walk through St. Louis Cemetery No. 1, and you'll notice something eerie. Unlike traditional graves, the dead here are buried above ground in elaborate stone tombs. The reason? The high water table makes underground burials nearly impossible. But these cemeteries aren't just unique. They're said to be haunted. Visitors claim to see ghostly figures wandering between the tombs, and many believe that the restless spirit of Marie Laveau, the legendary voodoo queen of New Orleans, still lingers here, granting wishes to those who visit her grave. And then there's the infamous La Laurie Mansion, the most haunted house in New Orleans. This imposing, darkened home in the French Quarter belonged to Madame Delphine La Laurie, a high society woman who harbored a gruesome secret. When a fire broke out in her mansion in 1834, authorities uncovered a horrific scene. Enslaved people were chained, tortured, and left to die in her hidden torture chamber. Since then, visitors and residents have reported hearing phantom screams, seeing shadowy figures in the windows, and feeling an unshakable presence when walking past the mansion. If you're intrigued by the mystical, take a voodoo tour to learn about the religion that has shaped New Orleans culture for centuries. Forget Hollywood stereotypes. Voodoo is a deep spiritual practice rooted in African and Caribbean traditions. Walk through voodoo shops filled with gris-gris bags, potions, and hand-carved talismans, or visit the New Orleans Historic Voodoo Museum to learn about the city's most famous practitioners. Whether you believe in the supernatural or not, the eerie and mystical side of New Orleans will leave you questioning what's real and what's legend. In most cities, football is just a sport. In New Orleans, it's a religion. Saints fans don't just watch games, they live them. Step inside the Superdome on game day, and you'll be surrounded by a sea of black and gold, chanting "Who dat" at the top of their lungs. The energy is unmatched, the noise is deafening, and when the Saints score a touchdown, the entire city feels it. Even if you're not a football fan, a Saints game is an experience you don't want to miss. And it's not just inside the stadium. On game day, the entire city transforms. Bars are packed with fans. Tailgate parties spill onto the streets, and if the Saints win, expect Bourbon Street to erupt into an all-night celebration. The love for the Saints runs deep here, and being part of it, even for one night, is something you'll never forget. Basketball fans, don't worry. The Pelicans have their own passionate following. Catching a game at the Smoothie King Center means watching some of the NBA's most exciting young stars in action. Whether it's a Zion Williamson dunk or a buzzer-beating three-pointer, the Pelicans bring the heat. Between football and basketball, New Orleans proves that sports here aren't just entertainment, they're a way of life. Just beyond the city's neon lights lies a world untouched by time, the swamps of Louisiana. Take an airboat ride deep into the bayou, where the cypress trees are draped in Spanish moss, and the water is as still as glass, until you spot the ripple of an alligator lurking just beneath the surface. Swamp tours are an absolute must in New Orleans. You'll see gators up close, hear the calls of exotic birds, and learn about the delicate ecosystem that thrives in these waters. Some tours even stop at small Cajun fishing villages, giving you a glimpse into a way of life that has remained unchanged for generations. Whether you're a nature lover or just looking for an adventure off the beaten path, the swamps of Louisiana will show you a side of New Orleans that most tourists never see. It's raw, it's wild, and it's absolutely mesmerizing. Let's be honest, New Orleans is hot. If you're visiting in the summer, expect temperatures in the high 90s, humidity that makes your clothes stick to you, and a sun that feels like it's personally targeting you. But don't worry, this is why ice-cold cocktails and shady courtyards exist. And just when you think you've adjusted, a random downpour will appear out of nowhere. New Orleans weather is unpredictable. One minute it's blazing hot, and the next you're running for cover from a sudden storm. But the locals don't even flinch. Just duck into a bar, grab a drink, and wait it out. It'll pass in no time. At the heart of New Orleans isn't just the food, the music, or the history, it's the people. Southern hospitality is real, and in this city, you'll feel like family from the moment you arrive. Strangers strike up conversations like old friends, bartenders remember your name, and if you're lucky, a local might even invite you to a backyard crawfish boil. New Orleans moves to its own rhythm, and when you're here, you become part of it. Whether it's joining a second-line parade, sharing a meal with new friends, or simply soaking in the city's infectious energy, the vibe of New Orleans stays with you long after you leave. There's just no place like it. So, should you go to New Orleans? I've showed you a lot of aspects of NOLA and all it has to offer, so that's a big easy yes from me. See what I did there? But what do you think? Whether you're looking for unique and delicious spicy food, amazing jazz and Cajun music, endless nightlife, or the rich, vibrant culture, NOLA guarantees an unforgettable experience. So pack your bags, grab a drink, and let the good times roll in New Orleans, USA. What's your favorite thing about New Orleans? Drop it in the comments section down below this video. Like, subscribe, and hit the bell for more amazing travel videos from Should I Go? Your channel for travel destination decisions. Thanks for watching and see you soon. Cheers.